Okay, I promise this time we're actually gonna be talking about Hawas Black, and it's not a pre-release video. There it is.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern, niche, or designer fragrances.
What's going on, guys? My name is Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know about Hawas Black. So I did not plan on dropping that video of like talking about it the day before I got it, but that's actually what ended up happening. So in today's video, to make it up to you guys, we'll be doing a giveaway. So let's go ahead and give away a Hawas Black. How about that?
Catch me outside, how about that?
Perfume Box is where I got this bottle. They overnight shipped it to me, and we're going to be doing a giveaway on their behalf. I'm going to be talking to them after this video and telling them to do the giveaway. So hopefully they say yeah. If they said yeah, then this portion of the video is still in there, but we're gonna make them say yeah because they're actually pretty cool. So that's where I got this bottle from. So shout outs to Perfume Box. I do have a coupon code and all that good stuff. You can purchase it from wherever is most convenient and cheapest for you. That's usually what I end up saying. So let's go ahead and get into my honest opinion and thoughts on Hawas Black. As always going to be, you can never purchase. You know, sometimes I do fall for hypes and stuff like that, especially when it's a new fragrance and you're really excited, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is amazing. And then you end up playing like the new PS5, for example, and then you're like, oh shit, this is like, it's cool, it's good. But, or like the iPhone 16, right? Like I got the iPhone 15 Pro Max and I was so stoked for the 16, and then it came out and I was like, yeah! And then the next day I was like, wait, there's no memory. It's still 1 terabyte. I needed 2. And so I decided not to upgrade. But anyways, Hawas Black. What does the scent profile smell like? How long does it last? And all of that good stuff. The presentation that we're going to be looking at here today looks identical to their other bottles, and the only difference between these bottles is going to be the fact that it's got that painted black on the front. So as you can see, the legacy started with the Hawas, the clear bottle here, and then we've got the one with the ice with the white print and the white cap. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that release. It did start off a little bit expensive, around $90, and that was the beef with the ice from the beginning. And then now we have the Hawas Black, which is a lot more fairly priced at around, I believe it might be $55 or $60. It's a lot more fair, that's for damn sure. So first thing we're gonna do is take a look at some of the notes. These are the official note breakdown. You can find these on Perfume Box as well. It's gonna be pineapple, grapefruit, and bergamot. In the mid, we've got cedarwood, patchouli, and jasmine. And in the base, we've got oak moss, woody, and amber. Oh shit, that looks very familiar, and it sure as hell does. A lot of times the notes on a lot of these fragrances are not going to be exactly what you see, and we're talking about designers, Middle Eastern, cheapies, even niche fragrances. It's like a magician never reveals their secrets and a chef never gives you the secret ingredients completely. So what this actually does smell like is a lot like Hachivat. However, stay put, don't leave yet, because there's a lot more to it than just that, and I'll tell you why. First things first, right off the bat, this is much stronger than Hachivat. That's number one. There's still more to it. Number two is going to be the fact that there are still some differences that I actually favor over Hachivat. This is genuine. So earlier on, I picked this up when it was still like a little bit of a hype, etc. But I never caught on to the hype for Hachivat because I always preferred Cedroit Boissé, Aventus, etc. And the second thing is also the fact that this does not or has not ever performed for me. That's absolutely not the case with Hawas. But one of the main differences as well during the opening of Hawas is it's a lot more attention grabbing and a lot more, it's just better in the opening. And I would personally say that it's because they've increased a lot of what seems like maybe this ginger and ambroxan, and also maybe a touch of pink pepper, and it's just super damn loud. I personally get a bit more of this oak mossy nature too, so that mossy, rich, wet woods quality is enhanced a bit more, almost to the point where you get like this incensey undertone. So what it in fact smells like, even more so than just Hachivat, and I actually layered these together, is a layering of both Aventus Absolute and Hachivat. And when you end up with is Hawas Black, and you end up with something that's stronger than even both of those. So this is a fragrance that got me a couple of compliments. Number one was, damn, that's too strong. So it's absolutely beast mode stuff. Number two is that smells very masculine and it smells good. So the scent profile for this is you're gonna get this very tart black currant. You're gonna get those very rich oak moss woods. And in the opening, you almost get like this Taroni style, earthy, smoky incense just in the very opening for like the first, I would say, 5 minutes. The smoky incense vibe starts to tone down. You get a lot more of those woods. The black currant starts to prevail. And what you end up with is just rich ass, very projecting ambroxan, oak moss, and that faint black currant with some of those citruses underneath it all. This is very rugged, it's very masculine, it's very loud. Is it redundant if you have fragrances like these two? It very possibly could be. Is it similar to fragrances like Celerio Oros, like Supremacy Not Only Intense, like, and I'm bringing these up because these are questions that I see in the comment sections that matter. Yeah, it's in that family, but I would personally say that this is going to be the loudest of them all, the most oak mossy and richest of them all, and the wettest of them all. That's what she said. One of the more unique things about Hawas Black that I think is worth mentioning in experience or in comparison to my experience with either one of these fragrances is the intensity of that oak moss. And in fact, this is a fragrance that when sampling or even smelling up close to the atomizer, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this with one or two really strong fragrances, where it literally almost stains the inside of your nose and you can smell it for hours. That's been the case with this, but also sniffing that and finally pinpointing what I was sniffing for the rest of the day made me realize that there is something a little bit more unique as well. And it's a barbershoppy nature that I get with this fragrance more so than I've ever gone with either one of these. And more specifically because of its emphasis around that oak moss. So generally speaking, a lot of barbershop and fougere fragrances have that fern-like scent, right? Very forest-like, very piney, very just camphorous in nature. And what this one does is give you that camphorous vibe. So it does have that orris, or it has the hachivat and the whole Aventus style DNA, but I find this one to be the most barbershoppy of them all, strangely enough. And it's more than likely coming from that wet oak moss that's very rich in nature, giving it that almost literal barbershop feel. And that's why they call it barbershoppy fragrances, because it'll remind you of old school scents that were in shaving cream as well. It was lavender, oak moss, etc. Although this not having any lavender, that I think for whatever it's worth was definitely worth mentioning, because I was constantly getting that classic fougere style DNA in my nose. It was just staying there, but much more modern and much better than just that. So sure, it does smell like a combo of both of these with that addition of like this enhanced or emphasized fougere undertone to it, which gives it an even more masculine nature than even both of these fragrances. So still similar, yes. I'm not trying to say, oh my god, you're gonna get a completely no, but it does have its differences as well, and I felt like that was extremely important and worth mentioning enough to turn the camera back on and insert this segment wherever it fits. So yeah, so that's as simple as that. It is in that vein. If you have a lot of these inspos, if you have a lot of like hachibat, etc., you might find that it'll be redundant, but I'll tell you what, it'll absolutely be the strongest one and the longest lasting one, period. Also, another side note is that a lot of those fragrances are Aventus inspos. They're not hachibat inspos, and there are certain differences to it. There's a significant difference to it, actually. It's a lot more, those are a lot more diffusive. They're not as rich in the soil nuance. It almost literally smells like you're scooping up some soil, you're squeezing on those citruses, and then you're putting in some crystallized ambroxan, some of that metallic style DNA that really projects, and it smells good. It doesn't smell as synthetic as that sounds. So there you go. Those are basically the facts of what it's going to smell like, what it reminds me of, and whether or not it's worth it we'll get down to in the very end of the video. Performance for this is absolutely beast mode stuff, and the projection is a room filler. It's actually a significant room filler. I went to visit my mom while rocking this fragrance. She said, oh my god, that is like ridiculously strong. She said it was popping very hard. I also went and got a haircut in this one, and they were like, wow, dude, you like filled the entire place. So performance is not going to be a question with this one, as with many of the other Hawases. In terms of the seasons, this is an all-year fragrance, very masculine, very earthy, and it can be considered something sexy as well. So if you're more mature and you like those Aventus style DNAs, you're absolutely gonna love this, but it does go in a different territory. Final thoughts on this fragrance is that for the price, you're getting what you paid for and some. The quality, it's absolutely a 10 out of 10 in terms of quality. Longevity is also a 10 out of 10. The only factor where somebody might have an argument against the fragrance is the fact that, like, is it a common DNA? Yeah, sure, like there are other common DNAs, but nothing has been done specifically like this, but you can argue and say that for every other fragrance. I personally, if you're asking me whether or not it's worth it for you, like for me personally, I definitely think so. One of my favorite fragrances that did this DNA was like Solario Oro, Supremacy Not Only Intense, and some of those other Creed Aventus inspos. And ultimately, if I want the loudest and the hardest hitting of them all, this is probably the one that I would go with. Actually, it is the one that I would go with. Extremely intense, extremely loud, and long story short is it smells like, especially in the opening, Aventus Absolute meets Hachivat. There's definitely both of these here, and more than likely because of that whole zingy citron style ambroxan opening, and then shortly after, about 10 minutes, it becomes more so of a Hachivat fragrance that's absolutely way stronger than Hachivat. And I'll leave you guys off with this final fragrance that it actually reminds me of as well, and this is a Middle Eastern niche fragrance. Oh shit, oh. This is called Cullinan Diamond Iris, and this is a 200 ml fragrance from a niche brand called Ibrahim Al-Qurashi, which also smells like Hachivat, but it's much stronger and more watery. It's not nearly as incensey or smoky, and if I had to pick between this or that, I would honestly pick the Hawas Black. And the reason is because it just has a lot more of that crystal ambroxan. It has a very mild undertone of a natural sweetness coming from maybe some of those citruses. It doesn't smell like it has vanilla or anything like that, but it does smell even better than this Cullinan Diamond Iris. And that's just my truth. Whether or not it's gonna be worth it for you, ladies and gentlemen, is completely up to you, but rather the objective reality of what I describe the scent as it comes off to me is gonna be exactly that, my honest opinion and review of the new Hawas Black. Let's go ahead and rate them as far as which ones I enjoy the most. If I had to talk about enjoyment factor, I would personally say that the Ice is gonna be number 1, Black would be number 2, and the Hawas would be number 3. In terms of which ones I would wear the most, it would be the Black, then the Ice, then the original. Reason being is that the original is the most youthful of them all. It does last all day, but it just smells like Invictus Aqua. The Hawas Ice does have a nice crisp rosemary, which takes this one up a notch, I would personally say. And the Hawas Black just exudes money. It smells more masculine, more mature, and more appropriate for signature scent worthy. That's pretty much it. Details for the giveaway. We're gonna be giving away a bottle of Hawas Black, and all you have to do is leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and if you want a bonus entry, follow me on Instagram and Perfume Box as well. So it's called the Perfume Box USA, if I'm not mistaken. Check all the details down in the description as to how to enter, and in 5 days from now, we'll be announcing the winner on the community tab. Please make sure to check that, and then from there, if you are the winner, DM or email me. Please don't fall for any scams, telegrams. I don't ask for money or to hit me up on Telegram or anything like that. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys in 5 days. Let me know down in the comment section if you picked it up, what your thoughts are, and or if you're not interested in the new Hawas Black. Hope to see you guys here again soon, and make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Until the next video, peace.